Leilani, I know you are absolutely fired up about what happened in Leeds overnight, Thursday going into Friday. And we spoke about it actually on Friday's show because I was showing the scenes of Leeds being burnt up in what appeared to be sectarian violence, largely by the Gypsy community and also by the Muslim community too. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but go back and look at the tapes and see Allahu Akbar being yelled at very, very loudly when a lot of this destruction was being taken place. But what was so shocking, Leilani, is that the only woman that we actually saw be arrested on Thursday night was a white English woman protesting about the absolute destruction of her neighbourhood. Watch this.
We do.
Who was a lolly?
And Leilani, they did actually take her away and arrest her.
Yeah, you saw her being taken away, and I was fuming down. I watched it and my blood was just boiling because I thought, we've seen videos now of people actually setting fire to the buses. We saw their faces, we saw close-ups, we saw it in the daytime. We saw these people, but then we didn't see any arrests except this woman who's trying to stick up for her property and her area and calling out what is going on. Now, you know, we keep talking about a two-tier police system and a two-tier justice system, but here it is right in front of you. This is exactly what it has become. It's like, you know, let's run away and ignore the rioters. You know, we're too scared, so let's go and pick the low-hanging, easy pickings. Let's go and, you know, pick on the little white lady who's absolutely tiny, probably 9 stone soaking wet. Let's go and arrest her because it's just easy. It's easy for them. And this is a classic example of two-tier policing, which we keep on seeing over and over again.
Yeah, because June, the police were running away from all of the gypsies lighting the buses and the Muslim folk who were trying to smash up the police cars. Yet there were about 7 or 8 of them leading off this woman to arrest her.
Well, most of them looked like they couldn't run away. Did they do any exercise? When we used to be kids, policemen were usually tall and pretty fit. And I don't know, did they have to pass a fitness test? Unfortunately, Hare Hills and Gipton is a very depressed area. And it has been for a number of years. Even 30 years ago, I went to see a client there. Not that I'm a masseuse or anything. I mean, a business client. And when I was parking up, this kid came up to me and said, "Do you want me to look after your car?" And I went, "What do you mean, look after it?" And he wanted a £5 so that my car wouldn't get damaged. Anyway, being a non-risk taker, I paid him. It's always been depressed, but now it's had this influx of immigration, a lot of it through the EU as well. It's not just about people coming from far afield. The trouble is they put all these communities they kettle them in one area, and there are people there from different factions of one religion that don't get on, and then there are different cultures that don't get on, and then there are African nations that don't get on, and they're all in one place. And then you've got the indigenous population that are trying to hang on to what they've got, with property prices dropping, and unfortunately it bubbles over. It happened in Oldham, it happened in Toxteth, it's happened in Leeds. And Leeds is a very left-wing council. Leeds is kiss a tree, save a whale, HQ, which is nothing wrong with that. But when
but it also has these green extremists now on the council who actually seem much more interested in what's going on in Palestine than they do in terms of supporting the local area in Leeds.
Well, unfortunately, he seemed to have got in on a ticket, did that councillor, because his speech when he accepted his position on the council was all about Palestine, nothing to do with how bad the roads are
Oh
and
no.
the motorway system being clogged or the housing crisis, which Leeds has. No, nothing to do with that. All about something going on overseas. When do you think you'd ever see a British person stand in a foreign parliament and as soon as you get a seat in your council or your parliament, start banging on about things in your home country? That isn't going to work. No matter how benevolent it may seem, it's not going to work. It's just going to cause
No.
unrest.
Now, look, the woman was arrested, and then the next day she actually spoke about her arrest and what had happened, and she was very emotional by this point. Have a look.
And I looked round the corner, there must have been 300-400 Romanians. They were Romanians. And then they started to come round the back of me. And then I had this from the police. We're arresting you for your own safety, they said.
Yeah.
That's all they kept saying. So I spent the entire night in a police cell. And I've got to say, the police in the police station were incredible. They were beautiful. It was just the arresting officer who was obviously fucking testosterone or whatever he was, or looking for trouble. It was me. I said, if I wanted to cause trouble, why wouldn't I have come in mob-handed?
I mean, Leilani, it's unbelievable.
To think that she's an innocent person who's just pointed out the truth and she's gone and had to spend the night in a cell. I mean, who knows if she's got children or pets at home or things that she's responsible for. She's being taken away for her safety. Is this what we're going to do now? Is everything going to be for our safety? The innocent people are going to get taken away, and the criminals and the violent criminals and the people setting fire to things and the people destroying things and smashing things to pieces and looting the stuff, they're going to get away for it. Let's just shovel all the innocent people away for their safety that don't want to riot, and let's just leave the people on the streets who are going to cause absolute mayhem. It's disgusting, Dan. It had me so angry. I can't even tell you. Now, credit where credit's due. I think Wootton is the councillor. I did see him trying to stop things and saying, look, this is our city. This is this is our town. Let's stop this. He was trying to calm things down. They didn't arrest him, though, for, in being aggravating or inflammatory, but doing a good thing. But they tried to, obviously, they did arrest this woman. Now, also, Wootton, while he was saying that, he also speaking about what had happened, he also pointed out that a lot of these people came here to cause trouble that had nothing at all to do with the original incident, which was a 7-month-old baby being taken because it had traumatic head injuries. So the social services had come, taken this child, and apparently this is what caused this riot. Now, the councillor himself has said these people had nothing to do with the child. It was people that wanted to come out and cause trouble. And this poor lady just pointed it out that, they were Romanians, or they were a lot of people that, aren't from England.
Well, yes, and Richard Burgon, who is one of these hard left Corbynite Labour MPs, who is the local representative, tweeted over the weekend, last night I was in Hare Hills until the early hours at a meeting listening to residents traumatised by Thursday's, horrified by misinformation being spread about their area, and determined to move forward as a community. It's inspiring to see residents coming together like this. Now, oh my goodness, June, there is so much wrong with that tweet, okay? There is so much wrong with that tweet, but it absolutely sums up the political class in this country. Firstly, where was the misinformation being spread? We saw the footage with our own eyes. This is all about trying to pin all of the blame on the gypsy community rather than the local Muslims. And the reality is, it was both. June. It was both. But Allahu Akbar was being yelled on a consistent basis during much of the worst violence. How ironic as well that rather than complaining about literally lighting buses on fire and smashing up police cars, Richard Burgon talks about being horrified by misinformation. Was he not horrified about the actual violence that left the middle of Leeds looking like Baghdad during the Gulf War?
Well, it's Richard that frightens me, because people like him are in our parliament and he's absolutely numb. I've seen him so many times now talking about things, and I have to look round and go, what did he just say? These are representing us. They think they're getting it right. And the trouble is with people like Richard, they'll say anything to protect a growing voter base. And that's what it is. They have big families, so the future is secure for a Labour type government or whatever for the party, because they're going to have bigger families and they'll be the new nucleus voter base. He's ridiculous. He's blocked me actually from his Twitter feed because
You must be doing something right, June.
I've attempted to communicate with him on one or two occasions. Obviously, I can be impolite when I choose to be, but he's out of touch.
Well, it's delusional. It's delusional. He said it's inspiring to see residents coming together like this. Mate, there is literally sectarian violence going on in your neighbourhood. There's nothing inspiring about it. It's utterly terrifying.
Yeah,
Dan, they did come together for a bonfire, didn't they?
yeah.
A bonfire of the buses. Goodness me. Well, look, you have to laugh sometimes. And how brilliant, by the way, is the comedian Andrew Lawrence. I absolutely love this guy. And he decided to pretend to be Keir Starmer to bring some levity to what is a really worrying situation. Watch this.
I've been Prime Minister for a couple of weeks now, and already we're thriving as a nation. Last week we saw a large-scale riot in Leeds, burning buses and flipped over police cars, which I think just goes to show how vibrant we've become culturally. Many of you will have watched videos of police running away from the scene of the disorder and will have felt truly enriched. We're a wonderfully diverse melting pot in this country now, and rioting is just an encouraging sign of a healthy and thriving democracy.
Trouble is, that's what they sound like. That's what they say.
Oh, indeed. Oh, indeed. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please do subscribe if you want lots more clips and interviews like that. Plus, if you want to watch our totally uncensored after show, then visit www.outspoken.live.